Are you ready? Can crush us. It don't really get no better than this the podcast that you're looking for. If you're really heavy into wrestling, hosted by the Mark. Energy that's so amazing, gotta keep it entertaining. Rep the Can Crusher Nation. Yeah, you know what's going down in the ring. Lights out when you hit a ding ding. Knock 'em out like boom, bada bing. Hold it down, you can crown me the king. Got a shout out to the Miz and Duke the Dumpster. We choke slamming everybody, power driving, hit 'em with a face buster. Yeah, this the show you need, and it ain't no need for waiting. Mark, hold it down for the Can Crusher Nation. All about wrestling and keep it entertaining. Can Crushers Wrestling Podcast. Time to break 'em, let's go. Yeah. Can Crushers. Yeah. Can Crushers, let's go.
Welcome back to another Can Crusher show. We're back after a week off. I'm tired. Hi, Mr. Jenks. What's up?
What's up,
We are pumped today. That sounds amazing. Oh God, I don't know if you drink coffee or something, but I have a Dunkin' Donuts latte in front of me. I had two. What are they called? Boston cream is the word I was looking for.
Oh, there you go.
So we got the chocolate on the top, the shit in the middle. I'm a little bit stoked.
I have had a Celsius, which if you don't know is an energy drink of sorts. And then I also found out that there's a cup of coffee left in my coffee pot from yesterday. It was breakfast with Elvis, which is like a peanut butter banana type coffee. So I had that cup today and a couple cookies. So I'm jacked as all hell.
So it means we're all going to crash this afternoon to take a nap prior to Double or Nothing.
Yes, hopefully. But I'm also planning. But I'm also planning to pick up a cup of coffee. I think on the way home because I'll be out and about later this afternoon, so that I can make it through Double or Nothing. Since there's 13 matches right now, as of this recording.
As of this recording at whatever time it is. But there may be less matches, and we'll get to all of that because of shit that's gone down in the last 12 hours, Jenks.
It's ridiculous.
It's crazy. But we have to start with this. Guys, we'll get rid of the sugar real quick. What happened this week in Texas is unbelievable. Whatever your stands are for guns, without guns, or whatever, that's not our platform to talk about. It's nothing like that. And I know a lot of people are crossing off the thoughts and prayers. I was trained that way to send thoughts and prayers. I don't know these people personally. If I can send positive mojo or something that whatever you believe in, the good Lord or positive lives or whatever, however I can send that to all these families in Texas, my heart is broken. My heart is extremely broken. And I want to pull the curtain down real quick. Just this past Friday, we heard something of nature in our area. And Thursday night I fell asleep. And I guess my son and my wife talked for a while I was asleep because I had to go to work on Friday. I got the remote phone call that they said, all was clear, things were taken care of in our school district. My son was scared to go to school Friday. That's not cool. He talked to his mother for a couple hours that night. And then like I said, when I was doing the garbage route Friday, I got that phone call saying things were all clear that I didn't know about. Kudos to them for not waking me up because of work or whatever. And, Kelly, you guys know my wife's name. I know Kelly kind of calmed Ethan down. But when he came home from school Friday, I talked to him. He was legit scared. Because, there's always repeat people doing this and everything like that. That breaks my heart that it's essentially touched home now. Whatever you think, whatever, cool. Everybody can have their own thoughts. We need to not have our children feel this way. Shit needs to be done. And that's essentially, again, thoughts and prayers to the families in Texas. But that's It's rough.
Yeah, this was a horrific tragedy in Texas. Really, Texas was the tail end of what seemed like a horrific 4 or 5 days where there was multiple mass shootings across the nation, but Texas was the culmination of it all. Um, it hit home in many aspects for me. I'm just heartbroken that we have seen another Sandy Hook type shooting where innocent children who barely made it to the age of 10 were needlessly taken from us. Um, Whatever your stances are, we're not going to get into that here. Uh, like Mark was saying, but it, it truly breaks my heart to see this, how it developed, how it went down, hearing the days after what had happened with the police and all of that. Um, I got emotional with this week. And Mark, you talked about Friday having to deal with that with Ethan and all of that going on. There was things happening with his school last month. I think it was last month, where I live. There was an active shooter. He only targeted one kid. It was from a rival gang or something like that, but he was on the run. And it happened to be the same day that we chose to test out my niece walking home from school, walking to my house from her school. Now, she doesn't go to the same school as that incident or that child, that kid that was involved and was on the run, but it was just down the road. She's in elementary school. It was a scary time, and I chose at that point to just meet her halfway. Because I had the availability. We just wanted to test her so that she could see if she could walk. Because she's getting older. She's actually in fifth grade, going into sixth. So it really hurt this week to see fourth graders were the target of this shooting in Texas, seeing that as she just passed that. So it's tough watching this. I, like you, Mark, was thoughts and prayers were the big thing when I was younger, and I do send those still, but I do also try to do more outside of those because thoughts and prayers sometimes just aren't enough.
Agreed.
So yeah, so this has been a rough week for me, but hopefully something happens soon to kind of stop these incidents from happening.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. So again, from me and Michael, we love you guys. I don't want to say let's just get through this, but that's not the way that I mean it. But yeah. I don't give two shits. Just make sure you keep everybody in your thoughts and prayers down there.
Exactly.
They need all the prayers that you can get. More does need done, but prayers are always amazing.
Yeah.
A tough transition. There's no way to flip back over to our coffee high. But Jenks, how was your other week? We were off last week because I was being a cameraman for IWC and doing some of this, some of that. But let's start with you first. What'd you do?
You know, these past couple weeks, not exciting as yours with the cameraman work, but pretty mundane. I did have some things go on that could possibly be a goal accomplishment in the near future for my 40 goals and after the 40-year dash. So more to come on that. I don't want to talk it too much in existence just in case it doesn't come true. But yeah, more on that.
Yeah, because that sucks.
Yeah, right. But we'll see what happens with that. Yeah, outside of that, had great weeks. Had a family picnic yesterday where I actually made ribs for it.
I saw that. Those looked amazing. What kind of, was it Memphis barbecue that you used or what?
So actually, I got 3 different flavors because I had 3 ribs. This was my first time ever doing like ribs from scratch.
They look great.
Thank you. They tasted pretty good too. I did. There was a Carolina barbecue, a bourbon barbecue, and a sweet barbecue that I used on each of them. But what I did was I did the binder. And if you don't know what that is, it's basically like a sauce or something that you lay down to kind of get the seasoning to stick to it. So I did a mustard bind on it with a cowboy seasoning, which has salt, pepper, garlic, onion powder, and cocoa. in it. So it has a little bit of a sweetness to the spice. It's fantastic on burgers and steaks, and it was fantastic on the rib. And then I cooked those for several hours on the grill, added the barbecue sauce about halfway in. They turned out pretty immaculate. They were juicy. They were delicious. They weren't falling off the bone, which was okay, but they were pretty damn good. So
nice.
Yeah. So we did that. It was a big picnic. Sisters did German potato salad, calico beans. We had buffalo chicken dip. We had the whole 9 yards, strawberry shortcake for dessert. So it was a good day yesterday. Hung out with the girlfriend a lot. She came up for the picnics. We were just hanging out. We're finding more and more time during the week to hang out and that. And yeah, so outside of that, it's been a pretty good couple weeks. Normal ice cream trips with the niece every week. Just get free ice cream well, not free ice cream. She gets free ice cream. I have to pay for it, but
right.
At least I get ice cream every week. But yeah, so it was a good couple weeks. Nothing too crazy. I didn't have much going on. I did get a bunch of dirt on Thursday to finally fill in some patches in my yard, so that I know. Well, I've been waiting to get the free dirt from our city. Puts out free dirt every Thursday. By the time I get out of work, it's gone. So, and because I'm cheap, I'm only looking for the free dirt. So I was off Thursday, was able to go in the morning, pick up a whole truck bed full and build in one of my garden beds with it. So now that's leveled off and I can finally put the mulch down in that. So that's my old exciting life in a nutshell right now. I'm so excited about that dirt.
Yay!
I thought about doing, I'm sure everybody's heard Johnny Cash's Hurt, but that one line where he goes, "This is my empire dirt, I give you my empire dirt." I thought about doing a TikTok for that, but I decided not to. Just with the pile of dirt because I just felt like being stupid that day. But yeah, so that was my week in a nutshell. How about your couple weeks being a cameraman and just being overall awesome, Mark?
Overall awesome, Mark. I'm losing my voice already because I'm that awesome. Essentially, prior to being cameraman, I got 2 new tattoos as well. One being the "Hello, I'm awesome" patch on the back of my arm. So I am awesome now.
Wait, you literally have that?
Yeah, I got... Yes.
I didn't even know that.
That's my favorite Miz thing. Yes. And then I got the British flag with the Bulldogs in it.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah. Have not posted those. Where they are, they're a little bit close to the elbow on the back fat that's really sensitive, so they're a little scabby. And I didn't want to, so you'll see them when they're nice. Still putting cream on them and all of that. Last week, though, last Saturday and Sunday, shout out to my boys, everybody at 2-to-1 Media. I essentially am now a cameraman. Whenever I want to work, I can work, they said. Here, pick the days you want to work. Saturday I'll tell you real quick, I ran the hard cam number 1, which is like the straight shot, and did some of those, the whole event. Sunday afternoon, I was at ringside because depleted crew, and I've done camera work before. This is a different ball of wax, jar of bees, whatever the hell you want to say. Because as a wrestling fan, you know essentially where they're going to go, but you don't know how fast they're going to go. And there's sometimes in the first couple matches, I was still a fan watching through a camera. I'm like, holy fuck, did you see that? Oh, I'm like, and it's great to get criticism back. He's like, normally I keep somebody on camera 1 all the time for a while to get their, their webbings around them and everything. Nope, camera 2, I was, ringside. I was like, oh yeah. I'm like, holy shit, Mark, you're actually stop watching the match and just go with the flow. So Sunday was a little bit harder than Saturday was, camera work wise, but I'll tell you, the work that goes in is unbelievable. The show Saturday night started at 7 o'clock. I believe they were there at like 9 o'clock in the morning, starting to set up. I headed down left the house like roughly around 9, but on the way down there was an accident that closed 28 down for about an hour and a half. I could have either sat there for an hour and a half or reverted all the way back an hour and then taken 80 to 79. I'm like, oh man. So I just reached out. I'm like, I'm going to be late because there's an accident. Okay, that's fine. You're a bum anyway, essentially, so you're good. But the running the wires, the this, the that, like, it's crazy. And if you watch IWC Network, the last two events, you notice that they used 2 rings that night, separated. So in between cage matches and normal matches, we had to move cameras. Like, we had the lines ran, but we had to disconnect, hurry up, run them over, connect them again, all during like a 5-10 minute break. It's crazy. It was amazingly awesome to learn all that right off the get, but holy crap, for the first time to be like, this is one of our craziest events, we have to do this, we have to do that. I'm like, oh. But really cool experience. Everybody at 2-to-1 Media welcomed me in, amazing. And then to see some of the talent when I'm walking in at like noon and they're like, hey, fans go in the front door. I'm like, I'm your cameraman today. They're like, are you fucking kidding me, Mark? I'm like, no. Which they were happy because they knew, it's good that you know the talent, you know the wrestlers, I think, because then you know their tendencies. And I know where, I'll shout out a great friend, Jack Pollock. I know what he does in the ring. I can read his match kind of like a Ric Flair match. Like, Flair does the same thing. No disrespect to Jack. I'm just saying, like, so it's always Jack's going to do this, and after this bump, I know what's going to. So I understand. It was the new kids at the beginning of the night that I was like, oh shit, I've never seen these kids. They literally, this is their first match. What are they going to do? And that was a little bit rougher, but yeah, it was cool. And continuing, a lot of baseball again last week.
Is it playoff time?
Yeah, championship games coming up tomorrow. So I got a couple games tomorrow to do, and then those who move on to states. I'm not being mean, and I'm not going to say any names. Some of our teams up here have dwindled off, so we have a couple to cover if they make it past the championship tomorrow. So we'll see. And I hate to say this. This is going to go out the wrong way if you're listening and you're from our area. I'm tired. It's been congratulations from football season to basketball to wrestling to baseball, softball. Every team has done amazing this year. And it's crazy that how great sports has been up here. Man, I just want a little bit of a break because it's literally been since football season just running. And now it's okay if some of them lose and not go deep in the state. That's so mean. But you know what I'm saying, right?
I know what you're saying. Mark's tired and needs a break.
Yeah. There's usually a week or two off in between each sport. There hasn't been this year. So, yeah. That's that. Sounds like a dickhead move. What?
I think I might need to just come down with a sign that says, give Mark a break.
Right?
Hashtag give Mark a break. We'll start it.
Yeah. All right. This is a wrestling show that Jenks, and we know we're going to go along as we have predictions for AEW at the end of the show in segment number 3. We're going to recap pretty heavy AEW in segment number 2, but right now, let's get on hot topics of WWE. We're not breaking it down. In-ring stuff has been pretty mundane as we move forward. We're, 2 weeks away from Money in the Bank? Which Jenks, there's new. Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
Hell in a Cell. But there's been news about Money in the Bank. What is it, Jenks?
Yeah, there is news about Money in the Bank. Apparently, they could not fill Allegiant Stadium, so they have downsized to, what is it, the
MGM Grand.
Is it the MGM Grand? I wasn't sure if it was MGM Grand. Yeah, they downsized. What do you make of that? I know they obviously couldn't sell tickets for Allegiant Stadium.
They're going from, I believe, 36,000 to 17,000. That's
half.
That's a lot. That really is a lot. I understand what WWE was trying to do, or AEW, because essentially you're having back-to-back for AEW, it's a huge pay-per-view. Mm-hmm. For WWE, Jenks, where do you put Money in the Bank? 5th or 6th as their pay-per-view now?
I would put it 5th because I think actually, you know what? It's like 4.5 because even though I love Survivor Series, they haven't done enough to keep it as relevant as it should be in recent years. And I feel like Money in the Bank's starting to creep up there to take that 4th big spot, to be honest.
Yeah, I'll give you that. I agree because as much as we always shit on Survivor Series, I agree. So they're moving their 4.5 biggest pay-per-view to a smaller crowd. Whoever booked first, essentially AEW did because they got June, and the other one got July. I think it was ballsy by WWE to say, "Hey, we're going to do that."
Mm-hmm.
But I think the product shows that they're not ready for that yet. They have a couple other stadium ones set up, plus they have the Clash's Castle or whatever, which is going to be what I hear is the biggest non-WrestleMania draw ever. Yeah, clearly. It's also overseas. I'm not knocking that. They are going to come in tons and masses over there. We're spoiled in America. They are not overseas. So they will make the day travel to get to the castle to watch this. Essentially, I saw it coming. I really did. At Las Vegas, I think, for the bigger promotions, because we talked to Jenny Santana this past Wednesday, who's doing Ultimate Women's of Wrestling. She's a GM there. If you haven't listened to that podcast, go and listen to that. But in my realm, AEW owns Las Vegas. That's their territory if you're going to put, pin marks on everything. So it was a ballsy move for WWE to go in there. Can they sell out the 17,000? They sure should be able to. I don't know, though.
Yeah, I'm going to go off of that here. I think they could have. I will go as bold as saying they probably could have sold out Vegas at Allegiant Stadium had it not been within a month of Double or Nothing.
Oh, yeah, essentially, yes. Yeah, I went long-winded, but yes, I agree.
Right. Yeah, just to sum it up, because I was going to say we're on the same page with that. I think they could. Yeah, they can definitely sell out 17. It's WWE. It's Money in the Bank. People are going to go. But you're right, Mark. We are spoiled over here with a lot of with every pay-per-view we get, and sometimes it goes into Canada, sometimes it doesn't. Where they can get the big pay-per-views we've seen in the past. It hasn't since COVID. I don't think there's been a pay-per-view in Canada since COVID.
No.
Hit. But I've always been an advocate that one of the WrestleMania should be in London. I think Wembley Stadium would be fantastic for a WrestleMania pay-per-view. But that'll probably never happen, and we're seeing that now that they're giving them this Clash at the Castle. But I think it's going to be Money in the Bank was a ballsy move, and you're right. AEW owns Vegas, and to try to put Money in the Bank within a month of AEW being there, that was just. I think it was WWE trying to play a power move they did not have in their back pocket. I think WWE thought, oh, we're WWE, we're big and bad, we have the better product still. It's being proven that they don't have the better product, so people aren't going to buy the tickets a month after AEW Double or Nothing, or they're not going to come back to Vegas in a month's time frame to do this. I just think WWE is trying to reassert their dominance without saying it, and they kind of fell flat on their face with it.
Agreed. You said we're on the same page, and yes, you summed it up better than I did. Yes, we're on the same page.
But I liked your answer, though. I agree with a lot of your points that I didn't get to or bring up. But, yeah, it's just they're trying too hard to reestablish that they're the premier brand, and they're actually losing because of that.
Maybe
you get desperate.
Maybe you throw SummerSlam there, or maybe you put Survivor Series. I think across the board, Jenks, we keep pounding on Survivor Series. You ask any WWE fan, WWF fan from back in the day, nobody likes this Survivor Series compared to what it was.
No, they don't. But I think it's because there's nothing, like in previous years, this concept worked. The team concept worked because it's it was kind of new, it was kind of innovative, but they do so many 6-man tags, 8-man tags on weekly television that's taken away from it. So I think with these ones, you have to put some sort of stipulation on it and not just brand supremacy type thing. We've talked about Survivor Series to all ends, and I think I've mentioned this before. Give them some stipulations for these matches. They get Rumble, you get better positioning in the Rumble if you win a Survivor Series match, whoever the sole survivors are. You know what I mean? It's just different things like that. Give them title shots. Do something to kind of spice it up a bit to give that levity and elevate it back up, because that's what those big matches need. I mean, if you look at the Rumble, that would have never. The first couple were successful because it was a new concept. By the time 92 rolled around, they put the world title on it, and then it seemed even more important at that point. And then from 93 on, that's when they started doing the winner gets the title shot. So they had to reinvent the Rumble so that the Rumble stayed relevant. And honestly, the concept can remain being relevant because it's getting them a title shot at some point. And that's why Money in Bank gets spiked up so much. It's a ladder match with a guaranteed contract to cash in at any point in time of the year. That's a hell of a concept.
That is. Yeah, because the Rumble, you know it's at WrestleMania. You know, that's the headline spot of the year.
Yep.
The Money in the Bank, it could be in, I don't know, Davenport, Iowa, that you can cash in.
Yeah.
So,
and
yeah.
I think it was equally as important that Edge cashed in after Elimination Chamber that first go around, because it showed this can be cashed in at any point in time, anywhere, and it wasn't just like, oh, I'm facing you on X date, and we know that's coming up. I think that's what helps solidify Money in the Bank. So it's almost like these events, it's the aftermath is what establishes them. And I think that's why Survivor Series kind of fallen off the radar over the past few years.
Agreed. As we get closer to Money in the Bank, I really want to take maybe a week to sit down on the show, Jenks, and talk about maybe the last 10 Money in the Bank winners. I mean, this is all research we both can do. And 5 or 6 for the women. They haven't been great recently. Maybe Rollins was probably the best one for me recently, but we'll get there. That's a month away or so.
Yeah.
Other news, Jenks. By the way, they're taking lots of shots already, I think.
Yeah. We'll get there.
Other news.
Memorial Day. Hey, Mark, it's Memorial Day. They can be drunk by noon.
Most people can. Most people can.
Most, not you, but most people.
Yeah. And I'll bitch about that during AEW predictions. Again, we'll get there.
We'll get there.
Last Monday, of course we were going to talk about it. You saw it in the thumbnail. Jenks, by now everybody knows about Sasha and Naomi walking into... This is all... For me, it's still all speculation. We have Naomi's friend tweeting things that are going on. I don't fault Sasha and Naomi. Both of them, from what has been out there, and I'm not holding it to over the fire or anything like this, both of them were going to lose to the respected brand women champions. Naomi was going to lose to Bianca. Sasha was going to lose to Ronda at Hell in a Cell. And the tag titles don't have another storyline again.
Yeah.
I don't fault them. I don't fault them at all. Do we know what this means? They're currently suspended. They've been taking off of all of the intros. Some people are saying it's Sasha taking her ball and going home again because they did this after WrestleMania and the loss. Jenks, what are your thoughts? Does Sasha have a point? Because everybody's pointing that Sasha started this and Naomi just followed. Has Sasha been essentially blackballed with storylines? Because she hasn't been in many recently. And I'm not saying who's right or who's wrong.
Right.
But I can see both sides.
I can see both sides. I just want to say off the top, I think taking pot shots at them was not the greatest move by WWE on their programming. I think that was a little bush league and a little bullshit, as you will. But
and I don't blame Corey Graves. You know Vince is in his ear. Corey Graves does not want to lose his job.
No, I agree with that. Corey Graves doesn't want to lose his job. I mean, the whole suspension angle, things with Cole, what Cole said, I know this is directly coming from Vince McMahon. There's no doubt about that. I'm not blaming the announcers for doing their jobs. I think you're right in some. I think you're right in saying he may be blackballed in some aspects of WWE in her storylines because she's kind of become this. And I'm not saying this in a bad way, but she just leaves in the middle of them sometimes. And so it's happened twice now. WWE has had to pivot. I do think they have pivot. I
hate that word because of that. Go ahead.
Yeah, I know. If you type it, never mind. There's a thing on Google. If you type in pivot or friends or something like that, the accounts will move and it'll yell pivot at you. But anyways, it's WWE has had to pivot, and we've seen I feel like they definitely have a foot to stand on here. I get where they're coming at. When the women's tag titles have been treated like garbage over the past several years. Actually, probably since they've been created. I think
since they've been created, yes.
Yeah. I think the only time they haven't been, I mean, they've made some good decisions when they first came around with who the champions should be. Like the Iconics were perfect champions with them, but they never utilized them in a proper way. Sasha and Bayley were the perfect first champions for them. So this time around,
after that,
it kind of went downhill tremendously. So I just feel like there is definitely a ground to stand on for Sasha and Naomi, and their point's been proven about the women's tag titles. They announced a tournament last week, but they have no teams to fill the tournament. And we've been hearing different reports in that saying they're struggling to figure out how they're going to do this tournament and how they're going to pull this off. Well, they don't have teams. I mean, they have Doudrop and Nikki ASH. They're trying to break up. Carmella and Queen Zelina on thin ice, if that.
They've gotten a huge. I was going to bring that one up. They've gotten a huge fight at WrestleMania. Your guys are going to patch it back up.
Yeah, how are you going to go with that? I mean, there's just nobody there to fill out a tournament. So the tournament itself was ballsy, and it's been overly complicated. They've created this scenario where they kind of shot themselves in the foot with the whole, just the women's tag titles in general, because they have no plans. They have no plans for them. You defend them once in a while. They're essentially, all titles are props, but these ones are especially being shown as props. They have no meaning for anyone involved in WWE or anything like that. I mean, I get Sasha and Naomi walking out. I still think it's kind of ballsy. They're towing this line with Naomi involved, especially when the bloodline and that's your main players in WWE right now. Like, I get it. It's two separate things. But if you say something wrong, it could blow up in their face.
It could. It really could. Both, by the way, this came out recently as well, if you haven't been following it. Both contracts of Sasha and Naomi are up soon. Said dates, I don't know them offhand, but both are up soon. Well, I would imagine they froze them since they're suspended right now.
They've had to. If they didn't suspend them, well, let's flip this around here. What if they're done with Sasha? Let's play the hypothetical here. They're not done with Naomi, so maybe they froze Naomi's, but what if they don't free Sasha? I get that she would go to their main competitor and they'd be screwed. But Sasha's also doing things in Hollywood now.
Yeah, she's Marvel and this and that.
Marvel. Yeah. She's transcending the brand of WWE. So she might not immediately go to AEW. Doesn't mean she couldn't go at some point if she wanted to. She could just be done with wrestling.
Well, we said it, I don't know, 3-4 months ago, essentially, that Sasha is almost a part-timer now because of her movie roles. She is, the female Rock, sliding in and out when she needs to be there. And essentially, she needs to be there right now. You have the power of the women on Raw right now. Charlotte just got married. By the way, congratulations to Charlotte and Andrade. Yeah.
Yep. Definitely.
Just got married, so she's going to be off for a little bit longer. I don't know if Ronda is your superstar on SmackDown, but there's nobody else there. No disrespect to the people who are there. You've just switched Lacey Evans, who would have been a great return on SmackDown, back to Raw. Oh shit, we are losing Sasha. No, and it's no disrespect to Naomi. I'm not saying no disrespect to her, but Sasha, one of the 4 horsewomen, the merchandise sales. By the way, they pulled their merchandise too off of WWEshop.com. Unbelievable what they're doing. Are they shooting themselves in the foot? They, like you said, they may be just done with Sasha. Okay, she's been a, air quotes, bitch to us or whatever, taking her ball and going home twice. You're right, Jenks. I don't think she needs to go to AEW tomorrow if she gets the release and then sit 90 days or whatever. She's probably fine. She's also got a cool-ass cousin in Snoop Dogg that I'm sure she raps her freaking own entrance song as well.
Right.
She's got stuff to do in her life. Naomi probably does too. Again, I'm not backhanding Naomi. She's just linked to a huge family in wrestling. You piss them off, what happens?
Yeah, I mean, Roman's fairly is pulled back on a reduced schedule now. The Usos, so Roman's your all-in champion. Usos are your all-in tag champs, the undisputed tag champs now. So now, what's your game plan if they walk? Like, I know that's the extreme hypothetical, but Mark, where does WWE go if you lose your entire champions in one fell swoop, except for the Intercontinental in the U.S., which now nobody cares about because they've devalued them so much.
Yeah, they're in tag matches now every week.
Yeah, they're devalued. Let's think of it this way. You've devalued the titles, but they would be your only 2 title holders if the Bloodline walked out. How crazy would the internet community be that, Ricochet is technically the big guy on SmackDown at that point?
Yeah, after who the hell did he tag with this week? Your mom? I don't remember. Yeah.
I'm trying to look it up right now. It's not coming up. I don't see it. But yeah, he tagged with somebody. Gulak, that's right. Yeah, Gulak. Well, Gulak's great in his own right, but they haven't done anything for him recently either. They devalued him, but and then when you have Austin Theory on Raw for the United States title.
Yeah, that's the only, besides Bianca, there's only 2 championships on Raw.
Yeah, that's it. Nothing else is on Raw. It's Austin and Bianca are the front runners for Raw.
Yeah.
They've lost so much, and God, just imagine Fox and them losing their minds.
I know. I think WWE, and people are going to say, "Oh, this may just be a work." Cool. We all have opinions. That's why we have a podcast, and we throw our opinions out. WWE is in a world, I don't want to say in a world of hurt, because they are, no matter what, I think they're the leader as of right now, but there's stuff going on. There's stuff going on in both locker rooms, but I think it's more tangible, more toxic, possibly, in the WWE locker room.
Yeah.
I don't know.
They're towing, I keep saying towing the fine line, so you probably drink off of it today, but there's so much going on in WWE, and there's so much in their mindset of they still think they have a power over the wrestlers that they don't really have anymore. WWE is not as strong of a brand in wrestling terms as it was in the past. I will say that now, and I'll probably get hate for it.
Good, because I'll back you up and get hate with you.
Okay. They're not as strong as they were, or they have been, and they don't really have that leg to stand on with some of these wrestlers in that. And a lot of what they've been doing over the past couple years where first they took away the third-party streaming things for people. They couldn't do it. Then they gave it back to them. Now they're changing people's names. They're trying to control way too much. They're trying to control people way too much, very, very transparently. We're changing your name so that we can trademark it and make money off of you. They're very much a very business, and it's losing a lot of value with wrestlers, although there's some in AEW that might be jumping, who knows. But it's losing. They're not as strong as they used to be. And it's time. I've said it before in the past couple of years. I'll say it again. The old guard needs to kind of step back and say, we need to refigure this out, and we need to reestablish who we are and what we are. We can't be yes men. We have to challenge things.
For sure. I think one of the big things, Jenks, in this whole thing is wrestlers like having the opportunity to go work maybe where they started from. And I'm going to say AEW and Britt Baker and Wardlow. Maybe every 6 months, Britt shows up in Pittsburgh at IWC, or Wardlow shows up or something. WWE does not allow that. They're seeing that. Sasha says, maybe I want to go to Mark's Wrestling Federation and do a one-off once a year or something. Not allowed in WWE. Impact, shit, they're bringing anybody in. They say, go ahead. You do what you want to. Chelsea Green is someplace every night of the week, and then, boom, back Thursday for tapings, or when they do tapings or whatever. Boom, she's there. Yeah. You see it with AEW. Same thing. This guy's here, this guy's here. Look at Mox, look at Kingston. They're all over the place. That's that territory wrestling. People, you go back to way back where you have to travel the roads and stuff. Maybe these younger kids, and I'm saying because everybody's younger than me in wrestling, essentially, Sasha or whatever, she wants to get to that. She wants to pick and choose. I'll work Dynamite every Wednesday night, but I also want to work Monday night in Peoria. I also want to work Fridays in, Hoboken, whatever. These names are just popping into my head, by the way. This is awesome. They want to do that. That's also more money for them. They can control their own merchandise sales, ProWrestlingTees.com or whatever. Cool. Yeah. They're trying to make a living. And I know WWE pays them immensely. But maybe it's not about the money all the time with some of the people. Yeah. When we get to AEW, it's definitely about the money. And we'll talk about that. So, yeah.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. It's the autonomy. It's the freedom of it. They just want to be free to do what they want and have a blast. I mean, at the end of the day, that's what wrestlers are. If you restricted their freedom so much by giving them scripts and not letting them do, don't get me wrong, I know there's some scripted stuff in AEW and that, but they've really just kind of robotic, forcing people to do things. It's taking away the autonomy and taking away from their characters. And it's WWE imposing a character on people and just restricting them. And people fight back on that. And I just think that's what's happening here. I mean, hell, when Triple H ran NXT, I know WWE had stakes involved in different wrestling federations and that, but they were allowing those one-off appearances in those places. And a lot of wrestlers, I think, and this is not from a spoken wrestler because I haven't done it, but I'm sure they want to go back to those places where it's very tight in there. Maybe a few hundred people can fit into that bingo hall or whatever it is, but it's an intimate setting and it's more in touch with the fans at that point. And that lights another fire under their ass. And that's what, with it just doing that and having that closeness to the fans and that, I think reinvigorates them. And that's why you see people from AEW and Impact, they're allowed to do those appearances to let them reinvigorate themselves and get reconnected with the audience. Big arenas are great, but sometimes you lose the connection to the fans in that aspect.
Aha, that was my next point. Sometimes wrestlers actually do care about the fans, and they want to give back, and they want to give that sentimental type of close niche to. Again, I keep going back to Wardlow and Britt. Hey man, this is where I got my start. This is these fans have seen my ups, downs, trips, triumphs, and everything. I want to give them props that the nation doesn't need to see. I want to come back here and do a promo from the heart that's mine, not a promo from the heart that is written by Tom Pritchard or whomever.
Yep.
Because you can see the difference. You can see the difference. Yeah.
Oh, the other point to that, let's go off of that. I love what you said, it's their heart in that. Let's talk about, some of the things we talked about a couple weeks ago. Roman, going on his not pulling back from the house shows, and he was talking about, this last time you're going to see me in Trenton, or like congratulating Erie about,
having
being such a great crowd in that, being the right, having the Seawolves. But then there was a clip, I don't know if you saw this over the past couple weeks, but I've seen it several times, where Roman's on the outside and this little kid, 2 years old, is mean mugging him, and he keeps looking back at the kid, and then he mean mugs back at the kid, and it's that little interaction, that little thing. I know the wrestlers enjoy that, so that's another. So that's another part of it. They can do that at house shows and do that not on TV, because it provides that special experience, and that's what actually creates fans for life, and even creates a passion to become that next generation of professional wrestlers. That's what happened with Bayley, Sasha. You could run through the entire gambit.
Keep going.
Everyone, I know. Probably 90%, 95%, 99% of wrestlers are in that bracket. That's why they do it, because they had that one little interaction when they were younger, and it's had them fans for life.
Yeah. Well, we could talk about this for a whole 4-hour show. Yeah. Couple more things to talk about here on the hot news. Essentially, WWE. I'm going to loop both of these together, and I don't know how true either one. They're both true, but I don't know how true the timelines of both of them are. During our week break, Stephanie McMahon says she's taking a break, stepping away from WWE for a while because of family, this, that, and the other. I've read that there's more to this story, and it'll never come out, though, because it's guarded heavily.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And the next day, I read that Triple H has been back for about a week and a half or so. I want them to get their stories right. Okay, so one stepped away, one's back. Cool. All right. But if Steph is stepping away for family issues and Triple H is coming back, isn't Triple H Steph's family? Isn't Triple H the one that damn near died a few months back? I'm not questioning, but I'm questioning. Like, there's something more to the Steph story. And I understand they got the girls as well, this, that, and the other. But there's something else that maybe in 10 years on the dark side of the ring will come up. Who the hell knows? But what's going on, Jenks? Are they, I feel, in my heart of hearts, this is to get WWE back up a little bit more, give Trips maybe some more to do, maybe give him some more reigns. I don't think he's getting NXT back, but give a little bit more, get the uptick on WWE. I think we both said by the end of this year, they could be sold. And I think Trips is a big part of them being sold.
Well, yeah, because I think Trips can bring the wrestling product back and bring viewers back because they're improving the product. I don't think it's a coincidence that when Triple H had his unfortunate health scare last year to now, the product went downhill.
NXT is
blown up. Completely blown up. It's something that I don't even recognize anymore. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. I'm just saying it's not something you recognize from the old black and gold NXT days. What I think's going on, it feels like the family issues are more to do with there's. I keep going back to this. If Nick Khan is the successor to Vince, I think that's where the issue's at. Because we've known for 20 some years, for a lot of time, the thought has been, and Mark, you can correct me if you didn't think this, but the thought was Triple H and Steph were the successors for a long time.
At first, I thought it was Shane before he actually left for his company, and then it just was. I thought, all right, well, maybe everybody it's Steph and Trips.
Yeah, and during that time, we all thought that it actually proved to be pretty confident in that, and a lot of people were looking forward to it. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Because the way Triple H ran NXT, people loved it. I loved it. You loved it. It was fantastic. It brought us back to like, oh my God, we could actually have wrestling back. Nope, that's gone away. And I think that might be part of the reason why we see Steph going in. Again, this is speculation. I don't know people's lives, and I'm not going to try to impose my thoughts on it. But at the end of the day, I'm betting. I think you're right here. They brought Triple H back in because they need the product to improve to look better to a potential suitor, which is probably Fox, because they're really bending over backwards to appease Fox right now.
Yeah,
with the reports of
the brand split is essentially done, I think.
Yeah, the brand split's done. It's two separate networks. Fox was not happy with people going onto USA Network for the Raw show. They're the only ones complaining about it. USA wasn't, because they were getting ratings and that. But I just feel like this is pretty much, they have to look more impressive to Fox to get whatever deal they're trying to conjure up. So, I don't know. I agree. I feel like that's the family issues at the heart of it.
Agreed. And I'll throw this out there then. All right, so Fox buys WWE. What the hell happens to the Peacock network? It's got to go away. And then Fox has to do something, a streaming device. Do they have a streaming device? I don't know. Is there one being in the mix? Do we go back to pay-per-views then?
Well, I think this puts Fox Sports app in a very unique scenario where they can, because they have the Fox Sports app for all of your needs, so now they can sell a platform and stream stuff and stream pay-per-views on. I think they do it with UFC or some sort of fight nights or something.
Yeah.
MMA, some sort of fight nights on there right now. In boxing, I think they have a couple times a year on there. So they have the Fox Sports app, so maybe that's what they're going to do with it, is just move it to there. But
not slamming Peacock or USA, but if you want to get back, and I know everybody loves the Attitude Era, Ruthless Aggression, because it was a little more harder core. And I don't mean ECW hardcore. I just mean storylines were a little different, this, that, and the other. Maybe that's where it needs to go for a little bit for WWE. Let a shit slip. I'm not saying Janet Jackson come on flashing or anything like that, because WWE is still more kid friendly than AEW. Let's just throw that out there. But maybe be PG-13 for a couple years, if that's who knows how long the contracts are. I don't know. They're just setting it up now. Maybe you have to go PG-13 for a little bit to get the teenagers back and say, holy shit, did you see Alexa Bliss's ass or something like that? But I don't also want to be at the whole TNA, not total nonstop action. I don't need it to defamate the women again. Not there. I'm saying the matches need to be stronger. Storylines need provocative, but not without showing stuff, because it's 2022. We don't need to run through, you have to kiss my ass as I'm in lingerie again match. No, not. We've moved. It's women's wrestling. And if you talk to women, as we do on the show, it's just wrestling anymore. You don't have to have women's in front of it. They're wrestlers.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I would agree to that point. And I think off of that is they've taken, well, let's talk about the ratings. I mean, the Demo God and all that, with Jericho, God, they ran for that, like the 18 to 49 bracket. That's your main audience target.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what you're losing right now, because and this is not a disrespectful way of saying this, they're just pandering towards children, family entertainment, which is fine. But Mark, I think to your point, you can push the envelope a little bit more with better storylines and less cartoonization. That I just made up that word.
That's an amazing word.
I thank you, but I'm trying to just say, don't make the characters as cartoonish as they are, because I feel like some of the storylines and the way they do things, they really turn people into more cartoon characterizations of themselves. Ezekiel, well, yeah, Ezekiel is actually a perfect example. Nikki ASH. Let's go down that route. Let's go down, multiple routes where they're not the same person as they were even in NXT before the rebrand. Shotzi, totally different.
Anybody from NXT, yeah.
NXT, you could even say Raquel right now has been shaven down and more shaped around the edges to be in this cartoonish persona. Yeah, I get that. I get where they're going for it, but I think if they just let them be a little bit more themselves, give them a little bit less family-centric storyline, but still something the family can watch, I think they would be better. I think it would just be better for the product overall and be better for the brand and let them grow even further.
Yeah. You want us to watch NXT 2.0, and you want us to get invested in somebody like Raquel Gonzalez.
Yeah.
And we're invested in her. And she gets the call up, and you're like, yeah, Raquel Gonzalez is on Raw. Did she get married from Tuesday to Monday? That she needs to beat Rodriguez? And now Shawn Michaels says her finisher is too vulgar, so she's not allowed using her normal finisher anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So you're just changing what we loved about Raquel Gonzalez to a weakened, and I'm not saying that she's not going to be a star, but a weakened Raquel Rodriguez.
Yeah.
And they've done it with Nikki, and they've done it with the English professor always said he loved Lacey Evans down in NXT. When she transitioned to the main roster her first time up, she was almost the same persona, but multiplied by 1,000,000, which was overboard then. Over the top,
yeah.
I mean. Yeah. You want to use NXT as your building ground, and I'm all for that. So they get more opportunities, more matches and everything. But when they transition, you always just throw that little bit of, I wanted you to do this. And that this tweak loses 1,000,000 people.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Well, I have my thoughts on what or who is responsible for that.
Vince.
Yeah. But I take it one step further, and it's his yes men.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Pritchard, and it's Laurinaitis.
Yeah.
There's no way of checking that. If we were checking that, we would be in better position right now. And up until, I think, last year, they were checking them pretty good until, I don't know, you know what, since Triple H's thing, they haven't been checked, and that's where we're at right now.
Yeah. All right. Essentially, that's all I got on WWE. You want to bring anything else to because we essentially gave WWE an hour. Do you have...
We did. Yeah, we did. No, I don't think there's anything on WWE else that we need to cover. Yeah, no.
Yeah, yeah, guys, the show. We do want to cover this week AEW. So in segment 2, we'll take care of this week's AEW, get into a little bit of the matches as it proceeds to our predictions in segment 3 for Double or Nothing tonight. So let me tell you about this. Collar and Elbow hats, hoodies, tees, all the cool stuff that Al Snow and his hooligans have down there at collarandelbowwrestling.com. Go use the promo code. You'll save an extra 10% on top of this week only, the 20% that they're giving you away for Memorial Day. So you're getting a shirt that's $19.99. They're giving you 20% off. Do the math in your head. Then as you add the promo code, you get an extra 10% off. You're saving a shit ton of money. That's the best way of putting it. Buy this week. Yeah. Until,
get on it, guys.
I think it's until midnight Memorial Day. So, touche. That's tomorrow. On top of that, you can find us on Spotify, iHeart, any place the podcasts are. I'm not going to list them all today. You know where it is. Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. You can find us there. Drop us an email at cancrusher69@gmail.com and all that cool stuff. And don't forget to listen to the Spotlights on Wednesday. Little plug for this week. I have somebody that is intermingled, Jenks, with the Golden Girls and Pamela Anderson. He is called the Golden God, Jerry Swirls, this week, and it gets wild. Yeah.
Oh, man, I can't wait to hear.
Yeah. Very much explicit, by the way, as well. So, if you're one of our child listeners, make sure your parents listen first to give the okay, because it goes down a rough path. But it was fun. It was fun. So Jerry Swirls, coming on Wednesday. All right, Jenks, let's send it to Al. Come back. Tackle this week in AEW. Kind of plug through that because you have some predictions from others. And then we'll do our predictions. Yeah. God. The one I can only imagine. All right, here comes Al.
Wrestling. A love and a passion we all share. I've started a wrestling brand. The wrestling brand. A brand founded on the aspects of wrestling. Two entities working together to create a product that connect emotionally for people everywhere. Collar and Elbow is the brand. Passion and love for wrestling is the drive. I am Al Snow, and this is Collar and Elbow, the wrestling brand.
Hey, I'm Jenny Santana, and since everyone needs a garbage man in their life, check out Can Crusher's Wrestling Podcast.
Welcome back. I don't know what that was from Jenks. I said hit the record button, but yeah, time for AEW of this week. We're going to step into this a little bit more because pay-per-view tonight, next segment, we'll be doing our predictions. I'm excited for the predictions. As I said, I'm going to put the six-pack on the line again for this pay-per-view. Jenks, this is what I needed from Wardlow and MJF. And we're not going to touch on MJF yet until the next segment, but let's just stay on Wednesday and Friday real quick.
Yeah.
And we'll touch on what he did in the match, but not what happened in the last 12 hours.
Yeah.
And by the way, it's close enough.
Did you just crack one?
I cracked open a Truly's Mojito. Yeah.
I will tell you what, I'll go get a summer shandy right now. What is going on? Oh, hold on 1 second.
All right, you go get a summer shandy. Piss off the dog as you're walking around, I'm sure.
So the dog is trying to attack out the back door of my house. So I was also checking out what the fuck's going on out here.
Okay.
What are you doing?
Is there a rabbit out there or something in parts unknown?
Actually, there's a baby squirrel. Oh, Jesus, dog. There's been a baby squirrel that runs around on my deck. Just kind of sits. I'm wondering if he ran past.
There's a wave into Bailey, giving the middle finger.
That's what he does. He sits at the end of the deck and just stares at the door. He's a little dick. But anyways.
So, on Dynamite, we get the cage match first between Wardlow and Shawn Spears with MJF as the guest referee. I was wondering how we were going to get to the point that we all knew was going to come, that at some point MJF was going to be eliminated from the match. I thought maybe he was going to be tossed out because there was a special stipulation you can only win pinfall or submission inside the ring. Yeah. Leaving the ring wasn't going to give Wardlow the win. Last week, I would have thought Wardlow is just going to decimate both of them somehow, throwing spears into MJF and just walk out. Well, he had to get the pin or submission.
Yeah.
I was like, shit, how are they going to do it? I loved it. I did. I loved that he got his ass beat for a little bit, and then we finally get what we've been wanting for 6 months. Him breaking the handcuffs.
Yeah. Finally. But let's, first off.
Yeah.
Next, they did that. That was a well done cage match, the way they did that. And they played up that he couldn't touch MJF during the whole thing. Really played into that a little bit. I was impressed to the point of, I don't know why. I thought they did it really well. I love that they couldn't escape the cage. You had to finish it in the cage with it. But man, finally seeing MJF get the chair shot, get knocked out, Wardlow win it, and then he got his hands on MJF for just a brief second.
Yeah.
For some reason, that was like the chef's kiss of the night.
It was.
He gave just enough for it, and it was beautifully done.
I know we wanted it a little bit sooner, but not getting his hands on MJF, but we wanted to beat down a little bit. We got that last week as we reversed a little bit with the 10 lashings. Wardlow took all 10 of them without a problem, and then they just decimated him because he was still handcuffed. I still think a major beatdown, and by Morrissey, would have added a little bit more heat to this. Am I right? Am I wrong? Or are they perfect on it?
No, we talked about this a little bit because I wanted to see Morrissey get the beat down on him while he was in handcuffs, because I think it would have added to the situation. So I think you're exactly right on it.
Yeah.
I think it would have added to the story a lot.
So, again, hold on to your freaking skirts and suits and all of that, because shit has happened in the last 12 hours if you have not seen it. Next up on Dynamite, Jericho's just going around throwing fireballs in people's faces. I now love the Wizard.
The Wizard.
I still hate the Society, but I love the Wizard.
You can hate the Society but love the Wizard. I'm telling you, top 5 character of all time. I'm sticking to that gun. Jericho's just a magic man. He's a wizard. He's a fucking wizard.
He is a wizard. Hangman and Punk have their face-to-face, and the first thing I need to talk about, Greg Gagne needs the shirt that Punk wore out to the ring that said Mutants.
Oh, yeah. That was the first thing I thought of.
And we won't tell you who Greg Gagne is if you don't know, but he needs that shirt.
He needs the mutant shirt. Oh, man. That segment was pretty good. So I gotta admit, I was a little confused by Hangman, but it made more sense as I thought about it after the fact. After his conversation with Punk, it made more sense afterwards, where he was kind of getting at. I don't know. In the moment, I was just like, what is he getting to? Like, is there some big thing going to come out of this or what? Because there was never, I'm saying all of this because of X incident. You know what I mean? I don't know why. I just was not, it wasn't tracking for me right away. And then finally it was like, okay, as I started picking it apart more and more in my brain, I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. That's fair. It just started falling more into place. I think I just had to think about it more and more as the night went along.
Yeah, it was definitely, I don't know how deep you can get into wrestling, but it was definitely one of Hangman's deeper promos with Punk.
Yes.
And I'm dancing around because I want to talk about a lot. So essentially this segment's probably going to be fast because we're going to break down all these matches into predictions. Yeah. I see something happening in this. Of course something is going to happen, but I see something that's going to shift gears tonight. And it comes from this promo. So we'll wait.
Okay.
Moving along, Mox and Eddie versus Private Party. It did what it needed to.
Yeah, right.
I mean, it was nothing. Danielson injured, but we find out Friday night he's going to wrestle to show that he's not injured from last week. That's going to be involved in the storyline for tonight. There's my spoiler for that.
Yeah.
Roppongi Vice against FTR. Holy shit. Yes. Anytime FTR now gets in the ring, it's not now, it's reversed back for years. They're match of the year caliber, but they then do it better. So this Roppongi Vice match, which is in May, is going to be forgot about by the time we get to July, because we're going to work with another great tag team. And if you've never watched Roppongi Vice, across seas or anything like that, come on, guys, catch up. Everything's available anymore. I enjoyed this, and I wasn't sure because I'm not a Roppongi Vice fan whatsoever. I like Trent. I'm on the fence, whatever. Sometimes this is good. This was a good match.
It was very good. Trent's grown on me a lot over his time in AEW, especially his singles work. So seeing the couple times I've seen Roppongi Vice in AEW has just been kind of an eye opener. I mean, Trent's a lot better than he's been letting on.
Yeah,
that the best friend scenario has given him, and Roppongi Vice clicks at all cylinders. I will tote FTR's flag to the live long end. You people have heard me talk about it ad nauseum on here. But man, as dissatisfying as the ending was, just what came after that was fantastic.
All right. Are you saying the match or what came afterwards sets up for Forbidden Door? I forget how to say it.
I think, yeah, right. I think the match was very good. I love the match. I think what sets up Forbidden Door has even more potential to it. There's a little kinks in the system, but I think that's the fantastic part of it. Is it looks like it's FTR versus United Empire.
Yeah.
I've
always been a Jeff Cobb fan. He was in IWC a couple times. Yeah.
Yes, I'm a big fan of Jeff Cobb. So I think I'm fantastic in the sense of it's setting up what I think would be a very fantastic match at Forbidden Door. There were some missed spots in that invasion, though.
Yeah.
So
yeah, but they got the point across at least. Yeah,
they did. And apparently, Great O'Khan is a menace in Vegas right now. So we'll leave it at that.
Next matchup, I was not invested whatsoever. Stark, Swerve, and Jungle Boy. I would have liked to have it be one of the big guys and two of the little guys. Throw Lucha in instead of Jungle. Throw Hobbs in instead of Starks or Lee, because this was flippity floppity, and that's where I lost it.
I enjoyed the match, but I kind of wanted Rampage to have a triple threat with the big men and have big meaty men slapping meat. I kind of wanted to see the big men just go at it, because I think that had a more interesting dynamic than Swerve, Jungle Boy, and Starks.
Yeah,
because Lee can fly. Hobbs would be your powerhouse. They all can be powerhouses, but Hobbs would be the powerhouse, stick to the ground guy, and Luchasaurus would be flying around. He's a more athletic. Well, I don't know if he's more athletic. I think he is than Keith Lee, but I think that would have been a more dynamic match than Jungle Boy, Swerve, and Ricky Starks, to be honest.
I agreed. A ton of promos that we can talk about when we're doing predictions. The Red Velvet one was kind of cool with Ruby Soho talking about fighting Statlander. I've been saying this for weeks. I really love that Red Velvet has developed a bitch character, and she's a baddie now and everything. I've loved her work, but now I'm really, I want to see her. It'll be tough for me to see her take on Jade and win or something, but once Jade loses it, I think that she could be in that TBS type of deal.
I could see that, yeah.
Yeah.
I would agree with that.
Britt and Tony, this should have been the finals for me on paper. Yeah. I really think it should have been the finals. And when we get to the predictions, I have a lot to say. You said some missed spots. There were some missed spots in this match as well that I think could have gotten a little bit more heat on Britt, but I just don't think AEW fans love Britt. Good, bad, ugly, shitting in people's beds, whatever. Something with Britt has just resonated with AEW. She is the Stone Cold of the women's roster. No matter what she does, they love her. She needs to get some heat, though. something. And I'm always waving Britt's flag. I will always. I just think she's too good of a bad doctor. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's always the line: is are you worse? Are you a good enough heel to get the hate, or are you too good of a heel to get loved? It's the KO story.
Yeah.
Right? Kevin Owens, he's too good of a heel that people love him.
Yeah.
But they'll embrace that. MJF, people love him, but he's such a dick. But people love him for that. It's that kind of line here. And I'm wondering, we'll get into who we think is going to win later. But, if Dr. Britt Baker wins this.
DMD. You forgot that. And did you do the finger point?
I did do the finger point.
Okay. When
I said DMD. Is that going to be the catalyst for her to become more of that bitch, more of that heelish character where she just plays it up even further? Because now you have the Owen Hart Foundation tournament under your belt. You've won it. Do you play that up further and further at that point?
Yeah. And spoiler, her and Ruby have had some fantastic matches on the indies.
They have.
Yeah. I'm excited. I'm actually excited for this. Final match of the night was Samoa Joe against O'Reilly. I was shocked. This legitimately shocked me. Shocked the system in Mark. I thought, you thought too, we were going to get Cole O'Reilly.
Yep.
Where are we going with Joe?
Well, I think what I thought was going to happen in this match, or what I thought was going to happen in round one, is going to happen in the finals. And I'm kind of not happy about it right now. I'll get into that. I think I'll get into that more when we get into the picks.
Okay.
But
yeah, we're flying through AEW, which I like. We can give the picks a lot of time then.
Yeah. I think I was surprised too. I would have sworn they would have given O'Reilly the win here. But hey, I'm looking forward to Joe and Cole, because didn't they have a brief thing?
A thing.
In NXT,
yeah.
Nothing came of it, because I think by the time it was could have came through, Cole had left. So they had a brief thing, and let's be honest, Samoa Joe and Adam Cole are excellent workers, so they're just going to tear down the house anyways, no matter if they had a thing or not.
Yeah.
So this is fantastic.
Yeah. All right, Rampage. We get the Matt Sydal Danielson match. By the way, a great match. Very technical. I loved how it was American strong style. I'll put it that way, compared to like Shinsuke Nakamura strong style. This was a good match. This was a good opening match for Rampage. And again, Rampage, I don't know what the hell time it was on, like 6:30 or something. I continue to say I love how they put essentially their best match on first. They have always done that. But there was still a tweak in Danielson, and we'll play off of that when again, predictions. You're going to hear that the whole show until we get there. I think that plays a big part in it for the anarchy in the arena. Just call it that. That's a stupid name. I hate that, by the way. That's not even a prediction.
Couldn't they just call it like an arena anarchy or something like that?
What's wrong with a street fight? That's essentially what it's going to be.
It's not Stadium Stampede cool.
It's not. It's not. Yeah, I agree. But it's essentially what it's going to be. We just can't use that name over and over and over again. Right. It's not in a stadium either.
Well, exactly. They're not going to go play. Well, now that would have been amazing if they got Allegiant Stadium. Let's be honest.
Yeah, I agree. The hardest.
This was a.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No.
I was just going to say real quick. This was a great opening match for both of them. To your point, I do love that AEW does that with Rampage. I know they're doing that at 10 o'clock time slot because people just want to see the best match so they can go to sleep. They kind of they're like, all right, we need to give them the best stuff first in case people don't want to stick this out till the end. Yeah,
because they're transitioning from SmackDown, essentially.
Exactly. And I will tell you this, I am so confused because of the basketball playoffs when Rampage is taking place. Sometimes.
That's why you set the DVR up. Damn. You set the DVR up to record anytime because
That's exactly it. Yeah.
Yeah. because I got home from a softball game about 7 o'clock, and I was just like, all right, I'm going to sit. I'm not going to talk to anybody. Both the family were at work anyway, so it was just me and the dogs. After softball games, I like to not talk for a little bit. Same thing with the podcast, just because you talk so long. So I just sit and like, so I'm flipping through. I'm like, why the hell is AEW on now? And then I kind of fast forward on the guide. I'm like, oh, there's 17 basketball games on next. That's why.
I cannot wait till the end of June.
When basketball's over? Yeah.
Basketball's done, and I can get back to my regularly scheduled agenda.
I know.
Or anything. Yeah. But go on. Okay.
The Hardy Bucks got the pop for me. I fucking love it. And bringing Gangrel out. Gangrel's good. I've seen Gangrel pop up literally everywhere recently, which is good. Good for him. He's getting, jobs and doing this and everything. They could have came out without Gangrel, and I would have been all right.
I liked it because it made it a little bit more personal. Outside of the cosplaying, by the way, I love.
Yep,
love that he did the Hardy Fall. The Hardy Fall, man. That was chef's kiss for me. Yeah, I mean they couldn't get the only other person they could have got for the Hardys, but they can't because she's under contract is Lita. But I'll take Gangrel. I liked what they did with him, and then attacking him after the match. It was perfectly done.
And speaking of Lita, Brandon played a great Lita.
Yes, he did. He did. Brandon may have been watching too many Lita tapes when he was younger. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. Would you wear a thong like that, Jenks?
Nobody wants to see that, so no.
Okay. Darby's taking on Sting tonight because Darby's taking on O'Reilly. Yeah, because he took out Sting. I have never pulled for Dante Martin in a match as much as I pulled for him tonight. God. And I hate the Ass Club or whatever.
Ass Boys.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Nah. I was done with it. Do you have anything?
Hey, Daddy, I have nothing except Daddy Ass Scissor Max or Bowen. So Anthony Bowen.
Yeah. I thought about bitching about this next little thing with Scorpio Sky, but then I reverted back to the Ultimate Warrior. Are we going to get a different TNT title every time somebody has the title? And I'm not a big fan of the Laker colors. I understand he's from Los Angeles.
Right.
But man, I'm almost thinking that, to me, the TNT championship is losing a little bit because of... I understood the first change for Brody Lee.
Yeah.
And I know it's been a year or so. And then we're going to get this one. And if Sammy loses, he can't fight for this title anymore. This title is meant for Sammy in that era. So I don't want to ruin my prediction, but
The TNT title has lost so much prestige for me over the past couple months. It's been the flip flopping of the title that is just kind of I'm numb to it by now. And honestly, I think I just want Sammy away from it. That might give away things, but I don't know. I just don't think it does. What's been going on has been doing it disservice.
Yeah.
At all. And I want things to change within a little bit. I think maybe it's the Brody Lee aspect of it playing into that a little bit, but I just need to see some sort of stability with the title would be just great. Let's start there.
Agree.
Let's keep some stability on it. If it stays with Scorpio for God knows how long, then let's let it happen. But we'll go from there.
Agreed.
We'll see what happens.
Agreed. We'll cover this one quickly so we can give the predictions a good half an hour, Jenks.
Yeah.
Ruby and Statlander. This was really probably my favorite match of the week. I enjoyed this, and I didn't care who is going on to take on Britt because I like them both. I do think Ruby needed it more than Stat since she's just coming back from injury and kind of character change. So I think they did this right. Shout out to Britt for wearing a Johnny Depp shirt. If you're not been in the know about what's going on with him, yeah, shout out to Britt for wearing a Johnny Depp shirt.
Yeah.
Real quick before, in 2 minutes maybe, have you been keeping up with any of this Johnny Depp stuff? Kelly is just days off. She has not moved, engulfed, and she's drugged me into it a little bit. This is a shit show.
It's a shit show in its own right. It hasn't been I was watching it all the time. It's been TikTok has just put it on my For You page, and now I'm getting all my updates. But it's an absolute train wreck of a shit show. Yesterday, I don't know how many times we brought up Mega Pines during our family gathering, but it did come up a lot. And then I was sitting around quoting Johnny Depp after that. Mega Pines.
Right.
Very heavily. But yeah, it's come up way too many times. So yeah, I'm heavily involved in it.
Amber Heard's crazy.
Amber Heard's fucking nuts. I mean, by the way, TMZ guy, my new favorite person this week from the MVP of this. Just calling out.
No way. No way. The MVP and somebody that's going to make...
Not of the trial of this week. Because this week, I mean, Camille has been doing great stuff.
Exactly. She's going to be worth trillions of dollars and get... I want to call her and have a cameo done from her to me.
Yeah. If she doesn't get partner, I think she's an associate, somebody said.
She should have her own
partner.
Yeah.
She should have her own to be partner of her law office after this because she has done so much for that child. She's the MVP overall.
Yeah.
TMZ guy gave me a great cackle. I think it was Wednesday or whatever.
Yeah.
Which is kind of why he's hanging in with me. But yeah, I agree. Camille has done so much for this trial.
All right, Ruby and Statlander.
Yeah.
Great match.
Great match. I was pulling more for Statlander. Love Ruby. I kind of just wanted to see this new character of Statlander get to the finals. Honestly, whoever won it wasn't going to change my prediction for the finals. So I think I was good with either one winning, but I kind of was pulling a little bit more for Statlander. But I like Ruby in it.
Yeah.
So
I think the history, maybe we would have gotten Britt Sheeta in the beginning, which would have been great. But they had to kind of switch gears on that. So the second go around, Britt, like I said, Britt and Ruby have history on the Indies, so that's going to be a barn burner.
Oh yeah, for sure.
All right, that's enough. AEW, we've got you up, and now we have predictions from Jenks and I, and the other two jackasses from the 40-year-old Dash. There's no other way of putting it. So. Jenks, are you ready to take a break and hear from Jerry Swirls and then come back and do the predictions what we've been excited about and teasing the whole show?
Yes, let's do it.
Oh, that's another one right there for Jerry Swirls. Ladies and gentlemen, your Golden Girls favorite, the Golden God of professional wrestling, the grandma-loving, middle-aged messiah, Jerry Swirls, is here and is going to want to tell you to tune in to Can Crushers Podcast every single night. You don't want to miss it. There's vulgar, there's some violence, there may be some sexual. I'm just kidding. I won't put that in there. It's all right. Tune in, check it out, etc., etc., etc. And if you don't tune in, I've only got 3 words for you. Suck my ass.
Oh, hell yeah. Welcome back to Can Crushers Podcast, baby.
Holy shit. That blew the shit out of my eardrums, by the way.
Oh, sorry about that.
No, that was great. I just tapped into the Pina Colada Truly. I'm really on a Truly kick, those pool-style ones, or whatever the hell they're calling them. Poolside, yeah. So that's what I got for this go-around. What do you got?
Nice. I went back to Summer Shandy. I have in the cooler right now some Arnie Palmer Spiked.
Those are so good.
Ice lemonade. I have those in the cooler. I've actually not had the spiked ones yet, so this will be my first go around. I'm saving them for Double or Nothing tonight.
Nice.
And enjoying them during the pay-per-view. Yeah.
You said, real quick story before we get to the prediction, so haha, another teaser. One of my baseball games this week, there was a kid named Alex Cole. I don't know why I just said his name, but wherever you were from, kid, shout out to you. I was hoping he would do something in the game. So, like something big. Something big.
Were you hoping for a Bay or a Boom?
I got it. I did. In like the top of the 5th inning, or the bottom of the 5th inning. I don't remember where the hell he's from. I don't remember where I was from. But I do remember saying, because he made a diving, like Jim Edmonds type of catch out in right field. And now, granted, he is not a kid from our local area. Maybe 50-mile vicinity, but not like radio station vicinity. I gave this kid the biggest bay. What an MF. Yeah, I didn't say MF on the radio, but essentially it was in my mind. What a great catch, baby! And everybody in the press box looked at me. The other radio station that was there covering as well, during break of in between the innings, he's like, you had to get a reference, because he knows me well. You had to get a wrestling reference in because that poor kid's name is Cole. I'm like, yeah, I've been waiting since I saw him in the lineup to figure out how the hell I was going to get Bay into this thing. So, yes. Mark is a child. Yeah.
Hey, I would have done the same thing. If you're not trying to fit wrestling into your everyday life, what are you doing? Yeah. I mean, I have done the Roddy Piper quote, whenever they think they have the answer, I change the questions. I put that into job interviews before, and just for conversation. So don't get me wrong on that.
Yeah,
I agree.
All right, homie, let's do this. The 6-pack is on the line. I'm looking to defend it once again. I've defended it 3 times thus far?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, so I've got a pretty steadfast hold on this 6-pack right now. Let's do these predictions. Let's go bottom to the top. Save everything. We got time. Deep dive into these predictions. You got the roster. I'll write down our spots to see who wins. You can read them off.
Yep, and I have multiple predictions that throw in there as well. So we'll go. Let's start with the buy-in match. Hookhausen versus Tony Nese and Mark Sterling. Mark, why don't you take the first crack at it?
Hookhausen all the way. Without a doubt. Sterling's in there, not to make Tony Nese look bad. He's going to tap instantly. It's going to be, I really think it's going to be Hook that gets the submission on Sterling. But Danhausen, this is going to be essentially his first match. I think we're getting maybe a 7-minute match out of this. It's not going to be long, but I think we're going to get like 7 minutes out of it. Let Danhausen do some of his shtick. Hook comes in and then just decimates.
Completely agree. There's nothing else I could say about it. I'm taking Hookhausen with this. Sterling's there for the loss. Danhausen's there to be rescued. I think that's the case. And across the board, everybody picked Hookhausen. So Hookhausen it is.
All right.
So I'm going to start bottom to top on AEW's website here. Excuse me. They have the 6-man tag or 6-person tag match.
Trios
listed
match.
At the bottom. The trios match. Sorry. Frankie Kazarian.
The mixed match. Okay.
Yeah, that one. The mixed match, yeah. Tay Conte versus the TNT champion of Scorpio Sky, Ethan Page, Paige Van Zandt. I'll start this one. I'm thinking Scorpio Sky, Ethan Page, and Paige Van Zandt win this. I feel in my heart of hearts that they are. I just don't see Paige losing her first match, so I think they win this one. What do you got?
Completely agree. Ty Conte is in to lose to Paige. The men will all be separated from this. And I know I put the little teaser out that maybe the TNT Championship is set for Sammy. I think Sammy, known as one of the pillars in AEW, doesn't need that title anymore. Let him run at the tag titles. Maybe him and Kaz become a tag team, and we get some runs there. Not that we have a million tag teams, in AEW, but at least build him up. He can always be in and around that mid-card, upper-level type of deal thing, Ty's losing this match. That's all I got to say. It's going to be Paige and Ty. And then, because Paige is there for a reason. Training all the time with Gangrel. You're going to see a lot of Paige recently. In the next coming months, I mean.
Yeah, I completely agree. I'll go off of that one. It's better. Sammy doesn't need the title to continue storylines in that. I think he needs to have a couple personalized storylines that occur for him.
Yeah.
Have a couple matches under his belt where no titles on the line. It's just him. He can play the heel up if he wants with Tay after this match, and that if they want to go that route. I just think he needs those personalized storylines. Off of that, Mr. Mucci did pick Scorpio Sky, Ethan Page, and Paige Van Zant, mainly because he feels that Scorpio Sky is a scorpion falling from the sky. So that's why he picked them. Cody, however, did take Sammy's team. So he's the only one that believes Kaz, Sammy Guevara, and Tay Conti are going to win this one. So we'll see what happens with that.
Cody.
Yep.
Gutsy pick, Cody. Gutsy pick.
Yep. Very gutsy. Darby Allin versus Kyle O'Reilly. Mark, go for it.
Darby on big shows has been losing recently.
Yeah.
Kyle doesn't need to win. He's part of the elite. This, that, and the other. Sting is apparently, air quotes, injured. I think we get a Sting pop-up tonight, which essentially gives Darby some type of win. I mean, I also see that we could have the Sting-Darby match coming sometime, but I don't think it's fully engulfed yet that we need to have that. So there's a lot of time to set up for that. But I think there's been enough hints that we're getting that at some point. Soon, now, within 4 months. Then that's my soon for me. But, yeah, I think Darby needs a higher profile win at Double or Nothing because he's taken some losses on other pay-per-views. So, yeah.
I can't remember the last pay-per-view he's won a match at. I don't think he won at Revolution. And I know he didn't win against MJF. So I think I would agree with you. Oh, he was on the winning team at Revolution. I'm sorry.
Team-wise,
yeah, team-wise. But singles match, I don't think he has. I'm going to agree. I'm taking Darby in this one. They built up Kyle O'Reilly. I think Darby needs to your exact statements. I'm not even going to harp on it more. Darby's going to win this. Sting will come back in this match. From the Peanut Gallery, we have Darby Allin from Mucci, Kyle O'Reilly from Cody. So Cody deviates from the norm again, going Kyle O'Reilly.
All right.
Yeah. So next up, the trios match. So the Death Triangle versus House of Black. We're coming back to this. This one was tough for me. I'm going to still pick House of Black, though, to win this. I was flip-flopping a lot in this because I felt like with Ray being thrown back into the mix, Death Triangle might get one over on House of Black. I just feel like House of Black is the team to beat in this match.
I think House of Black is going to be your first trios champions.
Yeah.
When Tony releases these titles, don't forget tonight, Tony has teased to release a couple titles that he has made for 6 months ago or whatever. Yeah. Does he just give them the titles tonight? No, I think there's some type of tournament or stipulation or something's going to come up out of this. But essentially, I agree with you, Jenks, and this was hard for me because Ray came back. But for me, the House of Black have been on the, I'm not saying losing, but like Death Triangle has gotten one up on them with Ray coming back and being hidden and this and that. And I'd rather see the Lucha Brothers go after the tag titles. Pac can go after, like, they're a great trios team, but I like when they do their own thing. The House of Black is just that. Those three should be inseparable. I don't need Malachi to go after a title. I don't need Brody unless he wins his Can Crusher title, which that has been on the back burner. Thank God baseball's and softball's coming to an end. We can bring that back around. And Buddy is just Butch, essentially, of the Brawling Brothers, or whatever the hell they are. He's a third person, the third wheel. So, yeah, long answer, House of Black.
You know, and I also want to bring up another point that I thought of. I wanted to say during when I was predicting it, but it came up when I was thinking about it. I think we're adding a fourth member to House of Black tonight because I think we finally see Julia Hart join the House of Black tonight. I think it happened.
It needs now at this point. It needs to. So you're saying Varsity Blondes come out. Maybe this is going to be a swerve here. That Varsity Blondes come out, kind of get intermixed in the match, and I don't know. They somehow F over House of Black, but they still get to win. But Julia's the reason why they get to win.
Yeah, it's either that or I could see them not even include the Varsity Blondes in this and just Julia show up and maybe robe. Similar to what Ray did and Dynamite a couple weeks ago, maybe Julia just shows up. Rena goes black, she shows up, or she just comes out of nowhere and just interferes in the match. I just feel like it's going to happen. It didn't happen a couple weeks ago, but I felt like it was going to happen a couple weeks ago. So I feel like they saved it for the pay-per-view for it to happen.
I hope so. I want to see I mean miserable in a good way, a miserable Julia Black just hating on people. Yep. All right.
Yeah, Julia Hart. Did I say Julia Black?
No, well, yeah, I'm changing her name.
Yeah, well, that's fair. Fair enough. Yeah. Fair enough. I like it.
It is Julia Hart. Go ahead.
But yeah, from the Peanut Gallery, Cody agrees with us with House of Black. Daniel does not. Death Triangle is more imposing of a name.
It is more. It really is.
Yeah. So I will agree with his logic on that to some extent. All right. Young Bucks versus the Hardys. Mark, take it away. I think it's yours.
Neither team needs the win to be over, under, inside, or out. The Hardys are legends. The Young Bucks, as much as people hate them, and I hated on them for years, do love putting over other people. Yeah. This one was hard for me. But we're on a tour right now, and it's got to be Hardys. I think I'm going Hardys. Not that it means anything, because I think this is just a one-off, and then the Bucks are really engulfed in Forbidden Door.
Agreed. Everybody across the board is agreeing on this one with Hardys. From my perspective, I think the Hardys may end up getting an AEW title run at some point, just for like a hot minute, just to say they had it and be part of their illustrious career. But maybe this helps push them in that direction. I don't know where they are in the rankings, but I think Hardy's over the Young Bucks here. It's going to be an entertaining match, nonetheless.
Yeah, and that's a down point. It might be too entertaining for me.
No, that's fair. That is fair. We'll see what happens. I'm going to jump around here because this lists the Owen Hart tournament next, but I'm going to jump these two and go to Anarchy and Arena. Let's see where Jericho Appreciation Society, Blackpool Combat Clubs, Moxley, Danielson, Santana, Ortiz, and Kingston. Excuse me. In my opinion, I think this is a win for the Blackpool Combat Club, Santana, Ortiz, and Kingston. They have to get a win back. It's a brawl. They're going at it with the Jericho Appreciation Society. The Wizard can throw all the fireballs he wants at the end of the day. I just feel like there's going to be too much going on, and I don't see them having the Blackpool Combat Club lose this early on in their teaming up. So I'm going with that team to win this match.
We're going to be pretty close across the board, I think, then. And this may be a draw for the six-pack, because I agree. And I'm not thinking about Blackpool. I'm thinking about Eddie Kingston. He's been on the one of the just getting decimated. He may get decimated in this match as well. I don't think him and Jericho are involved in the finish. Something's going to happen. They're going to be like, it's going to be one of those other schloads, Daniel Garcia or Fat Nasty 2.0, whatever. I think Danielson is actually involved in the finish to show that he's really not hurt. They're going to play up that he might be a little bit hurt. You saw him against Seidel, this, that, and the other thing. But you're right. This the Jerichos don't need the win. They're going to be hated. They're going to be whatever the Wizard can throw. He can be a dragon if he wants to and just continue to spew fire.
Yeah.
I agree. Without saying much more, I agree with you.
All right. We have Cody agrees, and so does Moochie. No, nothing too crazy there. Okay. So everybody agrees across the board with it. Let's go. So this is the match. We don't know if it's happening or not because of the last 12 hours.
Yeah.
MJF versus Wardlow. Mark, you're up first.
So MJF no-showed the meet and greet that happened yesterday as you guys are listening to this. And then about 10 o'clock Saturday night, it's released that there's a flight booked for MJF early Sunday morning, which is today, to go home. When I woke up this morning, it has been from Fightful Select and all those guys said the flight was booked. This is the ticket. He didn't get on the plane. So he's still in Vegas. That doesn't mean the match is still going to happen. There's a lot of going on with MJF. Him and Khan are definitely not on the same page. He wants more money, but he doesn't want his contract extended, is what you're reading. And I see where Khan is. I really do. If I'm going to give you more money, I want this contract for another 2 years or another 3 years or whatever. I'll pay you big bucks because MJF is really pissed off about have it be everybody. Alistair, everybody has come over after AEW started, and MJF being one of the pillars, he's pissed. Everybody's making more than him.
Yep.
And I'm going to throw this out because I'm going to sound like a asshole. I agree with him, but he's got to give a little bit as well. And I know I'm going to revert back to the Sasha thing a little bit. He's got to give a little bit as well. If you're looking to get this big bucks, you have to do something for Tony as well. Why not extend it 2 years? I don't care, $1 bajillion. I'm not even caring what his contract is. $1 bajillion is going to you, MJF, to stay here for 2 more years. Excuse me. Why can't you do that in sidebar to sidebar of all of this? So, I don't know. I think we're across the board. I'm going to all say that I bet you we all pick Wardlow to win no matter what. If this match happens. Because we don't know right now. Are we all being worked to talk about this right now? I don't really think this is a work anymore. He references it all the time. He brings up Cody's name, 2024. He's come on other podcasts that are linked with AEW to say, I'm going to be a free agent. I want to see where the money's at. And he's young enough. He's going to make trillions of bajillions of dollars in his life. I'm all right with it. Get what you can get when you get it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I agree. To that point, MJF, it's not about the loyalty. It's going to be about the money. And rightfully so for him. Myself, I'm not that motivated by the money, I guess. But I understand why he is and what his thought process is. People are. And money talks, let's be honest. He's going to go where that money's at. And if it's in WWE, he wants to go there. And he's been talking 2024. I see why he's like not really wanting to commit to Tony Khan for an extra 2 years. But I agree with your point. He has to give a little bit here. And he's young for his age. He doesn't understand. Maybe I'm projecting here. But he may not understand at his age that the way business works is if you want something, you have to give something in return. That's the only way you're going to get more money. You've got to make some concessions here. There's got to be a middle ground you can do to be able to work where you want to work and do what you want to do. It's just the way it is. It's just the nature of the world. If you want X, you have to give A. That's the way it is. That's what a job is.
Yeah.
If you want to get paid, you have to do the work for the job. That's it. Name of the story, that's about it.
Agreed.
Off of that point, if the match happens, I'm going Wardlow because this was obviously Wardlow's coming out party. This was getting Wardlow established. So that's where I'm at match-wise. Cody agrees. Lucci picked MJF.
He clearly has not been watching.
He has not been watching at all.
This is
But that's bullshit.
yeah. This match is built for Wardlow. He's getting out of the MJF contract to get an AEW contract. That whole storyline within itself, so he can go after titles then, right?
Yeah,
because he could never go after titles for these couple years, 4 years that AEW has been in existence. So
he's only been allowed if MJF allows it, and MJF could take the title if he wanted it. Because remember, back in January, that weird line where he started establishing Spears as his accountability buddy, where he said, if you win the TNT title, it's mine.
Yeah.
So I agree with that. There's just too much going on here.
To stay with this for a minute, Jenks, I hope if there's bad blood between AEW and MJF, I hope he does tonight to help Wardlow out, if anything. And I know storylines can go from Vince McMahon dying in the limo to he's alive and all of that stuff. I understand that. Don't you think you want to give their friends, I would hope they're friends or whatever. This is where the fandom comes in, and I can't process sometimes. You want to give your buddy a one-up just so he can get on that realm of what you're fighting for, the money, the prize, the possessions.
Yeah, even if they're not friends, I would hope that he would be professional about it. Be the professional, do the job, if you will. You can worry about the money and the stuff tomorrow.
But see, I'm going to be a dick, and this is where we just contradicted ourselves.
Go for it.
Because why are we backing MJF a little bit, but we pulled away from Sasha, saying, why couldn't she lose to Ronda? I wrapped it all.
Well, here's the thing. I'm not saying she couldn't. I would never say, why couldn't she lose to Ronda?
Right.
I get why she's doing what she's doing.
I do too. Devil's advocate over here, stirring the pot.
No, I agree. I love it. I'm going to counteract your statement and you're stirring the pot with, these are two different scenarios.
Yes.
Because Sasha and Naomi are trying to establish the women's tag titles. MJF's only looking to establish his bank account.
Yep.
It's fatten his bank account. That, I think, is the difference. And we can give MJF benefit of doubt, but I'm not giving him benefit of doubt because I think it's more unprofessional the way he's going about it and what he's doing. I'm hoping he sits there and says, okay, maybe I'm pushing, because I think what he did to the fans was wrong. No showing that event. Like, I get different wrestling events, whatever, people no show them all the time. But now this is meet and greet that people have spent $100 on to meet you and get a certain interaction with. And I'm not saying the wrestlers have to do this or whatever, but they bought tickets to this event because you were going to be there and they wanted to interact with you and they wanted to meet you.
Yep.
And I think that's the difference here. So I'm just hoping if anything gets saved out of this weekend, it'd at least be the professional enough to do what he needs to do for Wardlow. They've been together for 2.5 years, 3 years now, whatever it is. Do what you have to do for Wardlow. Then you can handle your business outside of that going forward.
I hope this doesn't turn into the finger poke of death, though.
I hope not
see
either.
Something MJF saying, yep, I'll do it. But then I don't think we're going to get the match that we would have gotten 3 weeks ago that we are talking and pumping about. I think there's going to be a change in the scheme of this.
I don't think it's... is it finger poke of death or is it Bash at the Beach where Jarrett lays down in the middle of the ring?
Right. Yeah.
That's where, I get where you're going with it. It's the same kind of the same concept, but I feel like I just hope we get some sort of match out of it. But you're right. Could this end up being one of those scenarios where MJF walks out, bell rings, he lays in the middle of the ring?
I hope not. Because then, to me, that taints MJF a little bit. but I don't know. I guess we'll recap it next week and see how much we either were duped or we hate it.
Yeah. And if he does do that, I don't know if I could be a fan of MJF.
Yeah.
I mean, I enjoy his work and his microphone skills. Him being a day in the business, I get that and I love that. And I'm a fan of that. But if you go out and purposely just drop to the ground and pull a bullshit stunt like that, selfish stunt like that, I want nothing to do with you. I'm not a fan of you at that point.
Touche.
You lose me.
Okay.
All right. So,
couple more matches.
We got a few more matches here. Let's go to this one. TBS Championship. I feel like we're going to be all on the same page here, but Jade Cargill versus Anna Jay. I think it's my turn to pick, and it's no contest for obvious reasons. Jade.
Yeah. This was thrown together real quick. I didn't even know that, whatever. Jade.
Yeah, I didn't know either, and everybody else picked Jade, so we'll move on really quickly. Although Moochie still calls her the fish lady because of Cargill. She has skills.
Okay.
Let's circle back now to the tournament matches. Let's do it. Women's Owen Hart Foundation Tournament Finals. Actually, you know what? Let's do the men's. Let's do men's Owen Hart Foundation Tournament Finals. You're welcome. Adam Cole, Samoa Joe. What do you got?
Adam Cole's not had a title or anything, sniffed anything in AEW. Samoa Joe has the ROH thing. We don't know what the ramifications of winning this match is, this tournament. Is it something that is going to be every year? Do they get acknowledged? Is it a one-off? Da-da-da-da-da. But I think it goes to Adam Cole. I really do, because Joe has a title. He came right over. He got a title. And Adam has been around the title, hasn't gotten a big win. And I essentially think Cole gets help to win this match.
I agree. This one doesn't get past. It's Adam Cole. I feel like Joe's getting attacked or jumped by Lethal, saying that whole group. So I'm picking Adam Cole in this, and so is everybody else. So Adam Cole across the board. Baby.
Okay.
All right. Women's Owen Hart Foundation Tournament Finals match. Dr. Britt Baker's DMD versus Ruby Soho. Go.
This was probably the hardest one for me to pick. Britt wins this. She can be a complete bitch that she won it. Da-da-da-da-da. Britt does not need to win this at all. Maybe this is where Britt and Jamie get into it. And Jamie because then what's Britt do after this? Nothing set up for anybody after this besides the women's championship, essentially. Maybe Jamie's done and is sick and tired of all of this. It would be nice to have Ruby win something since she came over from the WWE, because she's been lackluster. This would be cool for her. But in my heart of hearts, Britt winning this just to shit on the rest of the women that she has won something else, to win something else, to hold it over something else, not being around the title. That's where it's at. I give it to Britt.
So does everybody else. I'm going Britt Baker. I'm doing it. I agree for your reasons, but let's not remember her and Adam Cole. Let's not forget her and Adam Cole are a couple. What a power couple that would be, and would even further make it even more heelish because they both would talk about it nonstop, and they've interacted on AEW TV before and had mixed tag matches together before on AEW TV.
Yeah.
So it's a perfect combination. As soon as Britt won her qualifier match, I had Adam Cole and Britt Baker picked. This was an easy pick. Didn't matter if it was Statlander or Soho for me. Britt Baker was winning this match.
But I think something happens with Jamie tonight. I really
agree.
do.
I agree because she she did go against Britt's wishes on Wednesday because she told them not to come down. Jamie still came down. It benefited Britt, but something's going on with Hayter tonight, so we'll see what happens. And it's been hinted at a lot in this tournament.
Yeah.
We go back to the first round because they both could have met in the second round, but they ended up not doing that. So I could go into Moochie's rant about there being a super clique of Dennis and Adam Cole Sword, and it involves Isaac Yankum, but I won't. But yeah, so everybody pick the MD, Britt Baker. Have we gone against each other in any match yet?
Not yet. Not yet at all.
All right, so we'll get there.
Oh, there's a shot.
Yeah, right. So AEW World Tag Team Title match. This may be the time. We'll see. Jungle Boy, Luchasaurus defending against Ricky Starks, Powerhouse Hobbs versus Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland. I myself am gonna go Team Taz. I'm taking Starks and Hobbs.
This is where we're separated then.
Okay.
This is where we're separated. You got Team Taz. I say the Express doesn't lose yet. There's too much going on in this match. These other two teams are less than a month old. I know Team Taz is a faction or whatever, but you don't see them together in matches or anything. I just think there's better teams out there. Have it be the Lucha Brothers climbing to the top of the roster. Even the Young Bucks, FTR gets another shot at it. My fucking boys that deserve it, Santana and Ortiz, anything like that, Moxley and Danielson, something like that. I don't know if anybody's picking Swerve and Lee, so that would be the biggest shocker of the night for me, if they would end up winning it. But I can't see them. I could actually see one of them joining Team Taz, honestly.
Okay.
Tonight.
That's fair.
But yeah, I have the Express winning.
That's fair. I will say my thought process around it is this. I think Starks and Hop do get it for a little bit. Not for a long time, but for a little while. I think the Jungle Boy Christian story arc is going to implode or explode at some point in the next coming weeks. Jungle Boy's been on a losing streak lately. So yeah. He doesn't have momentum. It seems like they're bound to lose. Maybe they'll win because of Luchasaurus, but at some point this is going to turn and it's going to be Christian and Jungle Boy probably at All In facing each other. So I feel like in the next 3 months there's a lot of turnover happening with Jungle Express and Christian. So I think that's going to somehow be involved in this match somehow.
You brought it up. Go ahead. As you have a phone call, by the way. Somebody beeped. I don't know if it was me or you.
No, it was me. I had to burp, so I had to mute myself real quick. But go ahead.
Oh,
yeah.
I see the whole Jungle Boy Christian thing exploding too, and I left them out when I was naming tag teams.
Okay.
The Hardys. That's where they get their sniff. They get a match against the Express, and that's where Christian makes his turn to go with the Hardys.
Okay. I don't hate that. I didn't even think about that. So that's a good one. That's a good way to put it. I'll stick with Starks and Hobbs, but I kind of like that thinking there, Mark. Yeah. And that's probably more plausible than what my two cohorts at the 40-year dash picked, because they both picked Swerve and Lee.
What?
They both did. And what's even more impressive, well, what was even better was Dan called Keith Lee a meteor going to destroy the Luchasaurus' title reign. So the meteor is coming after the dinosaurs again, and its name is Keith freaking Lee.
So somebody between the four of us is going to get this right. Either two people or 1 and 1.
1 and 1. So yeah, we're going to see what happens here. We'll see what happens tonight, and if it's Lee and Swerve, I will just applaud them. We're idiots because we missed something.
Yeah.
We missed something big. So, yeah. All right. 2 matches to go. AEW Women's World Championship match. Thunder Rosa versus Serena Deeb. Is it my turn? It's my turn, right?
I bet you we have the same person. Essentially.
Go for it.
Rosa. And it's I hate to say it that easily, Rosa, because she hasn't had Deeb's somebody she lost the NWA title to, somebody in her back pocket all the time. I think we're approaching somebody else in the near future for Rosa. It's Rosa. And I think the sad thing is they're not gonna. This is gonna be a quick match because there's 13 fucking matches on this card. I think this one is because there's not been a ton of build up. They have a backstory, but there's not been a lot. They've not been face to face. They've both had their own interviews. Nah, I don't know if I'm invested either. Actually,
yeah, that seems to be the consensus around all of us. Is Thunder Rosa is going to win this? I don't see her losing here. I don't think. I think. Serena, I could maybe see it at some point, but I don't think she's going to get the title. There's just no way that's going to be possible. So I'm going to go Thunder, and everybody else did as well.
Okay. Main event.
Main event time, baby. All right. So it's CM Punk versus Hangman Adam Page. This has been just a nonstop back and forth. There's a lot of things going on with this. I'm personally thinking this is Punk's time to take the transitional title reign that we've been talking about for a long time. I go CM Punk.
Until 12 hours ago, Bailey's on my same page. Until 12 hours ago, I don't know. Because we all had a little bit of a hint that MJF was going to transition then. Or I did. I thought the jerseys were kind of a same thing when they were in New York, that they both wore jerseys. One got heat, one didn't. I thought, holy shit. And then I went back. And then, are we going to get a champion versus champion at Forbidden Door? Is it going to be Punk Okada? Because Punk has already called out Okada. I don't think we get that. I don't. Is Punk going to get a title run? I do. Does this match? And I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna be a giant douchebag. And if you win the 6-pack because of this, full goddamn reign. I don't think there's a winner tonight. Because shit's gonna go down. For people that don't know, and I don't know if you're a wrestling fan and you don't know about Forbidden Door or whatever, I think this match has a lot of implications on what's to come. Punk already called out Okada. What's Hangman do then? Where's this go? This could set up a tag team. Or, there's just... This is the match that's going to carry us to next month. And no disrespect on other ones. And they have tons of time to fill up Forbidden Door. I'm sure it's already full. But I'm just saying, at midnight, when we're ready to turn this off, because people have to go to work at 5 o'clock in the morning, or at least Mark does, what's going to want to make me buy Forbidden Door next month? Because I'm an average AEW fan and I don't know shit about New Japan. Now, do I want Punk to win? Well, fucking right, I want Punk to win. I would love to see Punk win. But then what do you do? Because I really think it's going to be Punk Okada. Yeah. Titles aren't going to be on. I don't think titles are going to be on the line. I don't think of that. And what I read, I don't know if Omega's coming back right now either.
Yeah, I don't know if he is either. I just think you could get Okada to come out after the match and have a face-off with Punk. If that's the route they're going to go. A couple weeks ago, I had teased, what if Hangman joined the Bullet Club at the end of this? That would set up Forbidden Door. But I didn't go that route because I thought that might be the least plausible outcome of this match. Could happen. I'm still sticking to my guns. I think you can get to Open Door if Okada just shows
Open Door or Forbidden Door?
Forbidden Door, sorry. Open Door, my God. Forbidden Door, you can still get the Forbidden Door if Okada just shows up. I mean, his name alone and his face alone, He doesn't need to interfere in the match. We had that with United I think it's United Empire.
Yeah.
Last week, I'm second guessing myself after I said open door instead of forbidden door now. But yeah, so I think you can get it on name value alone. In Excalibur, Shivani, JR, they can sell. How big a deal Okada is, even if you're an average AEW fan. Even average AEW fans, I would say, probably know who they are.
Oh, I would agree. Let me ask you a question as we ramp up our predictions. Where's Jay White fit into tonight?
Does Switchblade get involved in Adam Cole's match for the Owen Hart Foundation tournament? I don't know. Maybe he does. Maybe he gets involved in the main event somehow. I think if Jay White was to get involved, it would be, if he gets involved in the main event, I almost want to say he's bringing in somebody to the Bullet Club at that point.
Yeah.
That's the only way. But the two 40-year Dashmen, Mookie picked Punk, Cody picked Page. So we'll see what happens here tonight.
Yeah. I'm excited. I am going to take a nap this afternoon. I have to. Otherwise, I will not make this last match.
Yeah.
Jenks, I love the banter at the beginning of the show on segment 1. Recapping was always great. These predictions get me juiced for the pay-per-view. The alcohol actually adds as well.
It helps.
It helps. I'm excited. This is great. AEW continues every pay-per-view to just get me rocking and rolling. Do I hope WWE gets back to that? I do. Because in 2 weeks, when we talk about Hell in a Cell, I don't know. Because recap next week, and Hell in a Cell like the week after, so we have to do our predictions. You know what the next show I'm actually excited for? Is going to be Ask Can Crushers. Kind of like the week after that. Because there's a lot going on, but there's a couple weeks in between that's going to be very stagnant. That's why we're going to throw Ask Can Crushers in there.
Yep, I agree. So,
all right,
I'm looking forward to it.
I am. I'll talk to you tonight in our group text. I'm sure as I'm sitting in the podcast room hanging out. All right, I don't know a way to end this. We had a great time. Not just bye. Yeah. We're not going to say bye.
I didn't say bye. I said First of all, I said enjoy the pay-per-view tonight, guys. This is going to be a good one. So
yeah, for sure. But I do need to end it because the wife needs to blow dry her hair. So, for Mark, which is me, and Jenks, which is him, we love you. Thank you for the support. We're back full-time again. Mark doesn't have anything going on Sundays for a while. Thank God. Remember, just because you're trash doesn't mean you can't do great things.
It's a garbage can, not a garbage can not.
Whoop, whoop. Whoop, whoop.